The UN Special Rapporteur for the occupied Palestinian territories. Joining me is Eylon Levy, a spokesperson for the Israeli government. Good afternoon, Mr. Levy.
Good afternoon.
You referred this morning in a briefing to giving Hamas the mother of all thumpings. It's not a phrase that suggests the specific precision strikes that the IDF has referred to.
The IDF is continuing to give Hamas the mother of all thumpings, because we have two objectives in this war that Hamas started: to secure the return of all of our hostages and to end Hamas so that it can never again target our people. And as part of that, we have been continuing under our obligations under international law to urge civilians to get out of harm's way, to give plenty of notice wherever possible, to continue applying those principles of proportionality and necessity and distinction. But the monsters who perpetrated the October 7th massacre, the monsters who retreated into the Gaza Strip with 240 people, 240 hostages, after beheading, burning and raping our people, those monsters who are promising to do it again, they will be brought to justice by the full might of the Israeli army.
May I focus on the civilians who you've mentioned and how to reduce the impact of these hostilities on them? You're dropping leaflets in and around Khan Yunis. You've said you're telling people where to go, but the leaflets are actually just telling people in 4 neighbourhoods they have to leave and they should just go to Rafah. Down on the southern border. It's not as specific as you have suggested, and it's very unclear to people who are receiving these leaflets where is actually safe.
I want to be clear for the record, lest there be any confusion.
Please.
Every single civilian casualty is a tragedy. Civilian casualties are a tragedy of every war, and they're a tragedy of this war, which Hamas launched and is choosing to fight out of densely populated areas because its strategy is based on hiding behind women and children in order to escape.
Can I focus on this issue of the
army.
leaflets, on where civilians should go? Because you have said that you're telling people where they should go. On the ground, there seems to be a lot of confusion about what your leaflets are saying.
Indeed, and the Israeli army has also published an interactive website on which you can see and check for yourself exactly the route of the evacuation routes. And we think it is deeply regrettable that international officials, such as the previous caller you had, instead of supporting Israel's efforts to evacuate civilians from harm's way, from the areas where Hamas has spent 16 years embedding itself under their schools, hospitals, homes and mosques, are instead casting all sorts of aspersions against Israel, trying to blacken our name while we try to do the right thing and get civilians out of harm's way so that Hamas can't hide behind them.
I appreciate that there may be a website that's up and running from the IDF. We have spent all morning, 5-6 hours today, trying to get in touch with people in Gaza. There's almost no connectivity there. Again, I put it to you, you are not telling residents where is safe for them to go.
We have already designated the safe zone where we are working together with international partners to ensure that shelter and food and other humanitarian assistance can be delivered. Obviously, this situation is not ideal. We did not want to be in this war. We didn't start this war. We didn't expect this war. Hamas launched this war and is choosing to fight it out of densely populated areas.
But the residents of Gaza didn't start this war and don't want to be in it either.
You're absolutely right. And that is why we are trying to get them out of harm's way so they will not be hurt. But when Hamas retreated back into the Gaza Strip with 240 hostages and immediately told the whole media that it plans to do exactly the same thing all over again, it left us with no choice but to dismantle the Hamas terror state so it cannot terrorize our people as it did on October 7th and is telling us and threatening us it wishes to do again.
Briefly, Mr. Levy, if the population of Gaza did leave, if they did just go out of the Rafah crossing and into the Sinai Desert, would that be a result that would be perfectly acceptable to Israel?
We want to see civilians out of harm's way. To that end, we've been working together with international partners to create safe areas inside the Gaza Strip itself, where they can receive the humanitarian aid that has been coming in through the Rafah border crossing. And when this war is over, when it ends with an Israeli victory and the creation of a new reality inside the Gaza Strip, and the people of Gaza are free from the reign of terror that Hamas has been inflicting on them for the last 16 years, we hope that it will be possible to rebuild, and to rebuild in a way that ensures that the concrete goes to people's houses and not to the sorts of tunnels we've been exposing underneath their hospitals.
Mr. Levy, thank you very much indeed. Eylon Levy, spokesperson there for the Israeli government. Do get in touch with us on social media. Use the